Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everybody to our class today. My name is Sergeant Crocker, and today we're going to be covering servant leaders. The overall risk assessment today is going to be low, but just in case of any active shooters, we're going to turn the lights out, lock the doors, and hide. And in case of a fire, we're going to take these two emergency exits to the parking lot and take accountability under the water tower. Today's presentation is going to be unclassified. And in front of you guys, there are handouts that covers the slides, and it has everything that we'll be discussing today in class. And everything I say today is in accordance with ADP 6-22. We're going to start off with the purpose of the class today. The purpose of this presentation is to discuss what is a servant leader and what it takes to become a servant leader. Our agenda today is going to cover discussing what is a servant leader. We're going to discuss a couple of characteristics that makes a servant leader. Then we're going to finish off with a summary and a quick AAR. What is a servant leader? A particular style of leadership in which the leader serves others and places their needs first in a humble approach to meeting collective goals is known as servant leadership. So we all seen this type of leadership before in the Army. To compare it to a civilian job, it's a little bit different. In the civilian world, you're gonna have the employee that works for the boss. But in the Army, it's the other way around. The boss is working for the employee. In other words, the NCO is serving the soldiers underneath them. And things would definitely be different in the military if we did not have these types of leaders in the Army. I have a couple of quotes for you guys. The first one is going to be, if serving is below you, leadership is beyond you. And that was said by Bishop BLC. And basically this is saying, if you cannot learn to serve, you will never become a leader. Because you have to be a follower first to learn everything that comes with your job. You can't just walk into a leadership role without any prior training or knowledge. The next quote is going to be straight out of the NCO Creed. I know my soldiers, and I will place their needs above my own. And that's pretty self-explanatory. It's basically saying you have to know your soldiers and you have to put them before you put yourself. And an example of that is going to be, say you guys are in the field and it's chow time. Then you have to wait before you can get your food and make sure everyone, all of your soldiers, get their food and it's enough for them to eat before you can eat. Now we're going to talk about a couple of characteristics that makes up the servant leader. The first one is going to be listening. Having this ability and having the ability to listen and understand what others are saying is very essential. You will be able to better provide help for people when you have this trait. The next characteristic is going to be empathy. It is very important to appreciate other perspectives. You're going to want to try to approach situations with an open mind so you can see where others are coming from. Our next one is going to be healing. This characteristics involves assisting them both physically and mentally. Getting them engaged in their roles and keeping them happy is going to be a key factor for you. And next is going to be self-awareness. To be self-aware is knowing your strengths and weaknesses. Self-awareness helps with managing your emotions also, to consider how your efforts influence others. And then there's going to be conceptualization. Basically, with this, you are going to make it understandable what everyone's role is. Then you will explain how everyone's role impacts your organization long-term in the long-term plans. Next is going to be the commitment to growth of people. Personal and professional development of everybody on the team is something servant leaders are committed to. You're going to want to groom your soldiers so they can be our future NCOs for the Army. And in order to effectively help others grow, first, you need to understand their strengths and weaknesses. And the last characteristic is going to be building a sense of community within your organization by issuing opportunities for people to come together as one is a way you can do this. Another way you can implement this is finding different tasks to get everyone working together as a team. All right, I'm going to do a quick summary. And basically, today we just talked about what is a servant leader and what it takes, what characteristics makes up a servant leader. Do we have any questions?
No, sir.
All right, now we're going to conduct a quick AAR. What was supposed to happen today?
Servant leader, sir.
And what did we talk about today?
Talk about servant leader, sir, and the characteristics of servant leader, sir.
All right. And do we have any sustainments or improvements for today?
Good weather, sir, and good instructor. No improvement, sir.
All right. So today we were supposed to talk about servant leadership, and we did talk about servant leaderships and characteristics that make up a servant leader. Some sustainments is the weather and good instructors with no improvements. And that's going to wrap it up all. That's going to wrap everything up today. So just stand by and I'll read further instructions. Dismiss.